What do you think? And we didn't talk about this before. I don't think the listeners would be surprised. We don't talk about a lot before the show. All right. But what if you don't see a lot of comps at all? I mean, what if there isn't any data? What alarm bells or what green lights go off in your heads when you see that?
Well, obviously, I would think if there's not a lot of rentals, then maybe it's an area that does need rentals. But again, you're going to have to dive a little bit deeper to see, is there a need there? It could mean that there is no need too. Mm-hmm. So, right, going to the red side saying, oh, maybe this isn't like alarm bells. This isn't the right area. So, I mean, that's going to be talking to the city. That's going to be a little bit more due diligence than a 5-minute analysis, right?
But for the 5-minute, take an estimate.
Yeah.
Take an estimate of what you think it's going to be, or expand to another city that's maybe 1 to 2, if it's 5 miles, whatever it is, your best next comp. And then take that one. And then when you dive deeper beyond the 5 minutes, that's when you start to call the city and say, okay, what's the need here? And you really dive into it deeper.
Well, that kind of reminds me of our Nampa project, right? We didn't have anything, there were no comps, like literally nothing there. And we thought, okay, got to be a little bit lower than Meridian. Where do we want to be? And we kind of shot from the hip, and luckily we shot low. And so rents are quite a bit higher, which is amazing for our investors. But that was one of those markets that, again, we were like, what do? We don't want to be overly aggressive.
Mm-hmm. But that's good. You bring up a really good point. We estimated, but we were conservative. We felt we were conservative. And at that time, I think we probably were or spot on. And then over a period of time, we found out that they're actually about $100, $150 per unit higher, right?
Yeah.
Right now.
Which that brings up another point. So I was running a pro forma. The cap rate was a little bit on the low side. And the seller, who is my client, said to me, hey, what if we projected rents? And then this also came up in a conversation I had with Steve Olson, where he said, hey, right now where these rents are for this existing property are a little bit on the low side. Property management thinks when they renew these, they're going to be a little higher. Again, that's a gamble and a risk that you're hoping that the market is still pushing up, which it should in the climate we're in right now. But again, it's kind of an unknown. So some people may purchase something that's at a lower cap rate knowing, hey, I can hold for 6 months till these leases renew and actually get a couple $100 more in rent a month per door.
Well, it's true on that deal that you're talking about. They have existing leases getting signed for like 150, maybe 200 more than where this particular unit is at. So it would take the market really suffering, because we're not hoping we know where they're coming in at, right? And that's tricky based on time of year. There's some variables that can get you there.
It's a value add.
Yeah.
It's an easy value add if you understand and do your research, like, oh, wow, they're low.
Well, and you figure out when the leases are up, right? Hey, when are these leases going to be up? Is it going to be up in December again, and they're going to not get me as much as they could maybe in a summer month, depending on what market it is?
Yeah. Do a 6-month renewal and then take that thing all the way up to full market.